Hello everyone. As said, DOSBoxFalco. This is Ghouls and Ghosts, arcade any percent. I have a lot to say about this run. I've been playing it for a while, and I hope I can share the good portions of this run at the very least. Hopefully, we won't see any bad. A lot of bad can happen, but hopefully, we're not going to see that. So I'll count you folks down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. So, this game is a sequel to Ghosts and Goblins, that infamous NES game that was also an arcade game, and this is the arcade version of that. The big things that this game introduces is different types of chests that actually give you beneficial things and not just memes like tricksters. Although you can still find tricksters, you can find other actual good things. New weapons, magic armor, shooting up and down, which it's the only of the first 3 to do that. And it's a feature I like a lot. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on, I have to think here what I want to do. Okay. I wanted to play it safe, not die there. Dying there wastes about 30 seconds. I didn't want to take that damage boost for the sake of safety, but I just did it because it's supposed to have it. As you can see, dying takes a long time. There's no boss checkpoints like there is in the Genesis version, so I end up going back a really far ways away if I die. That's why I wanted to take that safety, but muscle memory got the better of me. So this is the first level. It's not that bad. The only big annoying part about it is the luck in the first boss. He basically can do whatever he wants. There's no way to determine his pattern by what he does first or by standing in a certain place. It's completely random. Random is a word you'll be hearing me say a lot, unfortunately. It's a big part of this run. Alright. Got him that time. And a lot of the things, when you see me mess up, you might have thought I messed up that other time, but I just expected something different and I died. It happens. Speaking of luck, this game, every 6 frames, so on the... Ooh, that was not a directional jump. Every 7th frame, you end up getting different RNG patterns. So, unless you're accurate within a tenth of a second, because this game runs at 60 hertz, 60 frames. Unless you're accurate within a tenth of a second, you will never get the same RNG. That also includes the title screen. The title screen also dictates RNG, so if you're on it for a tenth of a second longer or shorter, you get different RNG. And one jump saves about a tenth of a second, so if you don't get a jump in a certain place, then you just get hit, or not get hit, but you just get different RNG. I'm not getting the greatest luck right now. I got the torch, which is not a great weapon. Not something... Yeah, okay. I'm not having a great time in the first part here. Game's not treating me well. Ooh. What? Where's my start button? Oh, there we are. I didn't have coins. That was almost a disaster. So, this is an arcade game. To restart, you need coins, and I almost forgot that I needed coins. And almost got a game over, so... That would have been a first for any marathon run that I've ever done. But, hey, we're back in the clear now. Those bats are also completely random. They're very mean. They like to hit you whenever they can. This is Cerberus, easily the best part about this level because he doesn't vary. He always does the same thing. And you're fine. It works out if you get the correct positioning. There's no luck or randomness to it. Speaking of luck or randomness, again, big theme in this game, luck or randomness. this is level 3, and what I want in level 3 is a good weapon. I got a bad weapon, but I don't want a weapon like that. I want a good weapon, so I'm gonna get the knife. See, there it is. There are ways to make it that you get knife a slight bit more of the time, depending on what you kill these goblins with, which weapon you kill them with, you potentially get more chances to get dagger, or knife. We call it both. Lance is something like 10%, Axe is something like 15%. Those aren't the exact numbers, but if you pick up the Axe or the discus weapon, which hasn't spawned yet, but you might see it later. Hopefully you won't see me using it later, because I want to keep this weapon until the end of the game. But if you have the discus, you have about the same chance as the Axe. Overall though, as soon as you get knife, it's a pretty simple level. It's pretty execute. I shouldn't speak. I should stop trying to talk. And see, there's the discus. So you have a bit more of a chance to get a weapon, or get the knife with this weapon. I'm in a predicament. I'm gonna try this and see how it goes. This is probably the worst weapon to be fighting this boss with, but I'm going to try my hardest. Because, again, I'm not getting that great luck. Alright, didn't go as bad as I thought it would. That fight usually is about 15 seconds faster if you don't get anything mean, but I got mean things, so... Oh, that was not what I meant to do. Okay, we're trying to not die here. And with this weapon, it's pretty impossible to not at least take one death. So, I'm trying my hardest. Alright, we got Torch. I'll take Torch over that weapon any day. Alright. This is just a test of endurance at this point. Alright. Ooh, there's knife. There's the weapon itself. At least I can grab this. Yeah. Usually you don't have this many bad weapon spawns, but I'm getting some extra special beams today. Yeah, there was nothing I could do there. I couldn't crouch, I didn't do anything, so... As much as you struggle sometimes things just don't go your way. This is level 4. Probably one of the biggest factors of luck in the whole game. And again, I know I keep saying that. I know it might be a little annoying, but... This game really is mean when it comes to this stuff. Alright. Was able to get past those worms that time. If you get stuck there, you're basically given a death sentence. You can go the lower path. The lower path's a lot safer, but it wastes like 20-30 seconds, so I try not to do it when I can. There's a really neat trick here that I'm not going to attempt because this run is going poor enough already. But you do damage boost throughout that whole section. You can like do a jump here that saves 2 seconds, but is pretty frame tight. I'm not going to be performing it. This boss is one of the hardest bosses in the game, simply because he can put you into no-win situations. If you're trying to go fast, I'm going to just take it slow, give him all the opportunities that he wants, so I don't die. It's pretty simple if you keep waiting, but if you're trying to not wait, then, you know, it's pretty annoying. And you can also just get blocked by the enemy, or blocked by the invincible worm, and you can't take any more damage. It can be frustrating at times. This is level 5. If you don't know the Ghouls and Ghosts series, or the Ghosts and Goblins series, I guess, let me tell you about its structure. For every game in the series, as far as I know, Alright, had to think there. For every game in the series, you have to go through 2 loops. You'll beat it the first time, and then the game will say, oh, go... Really? The game will say, go ahead dauntlessly and make rapid progress, and you go back to the start of the game, back to the first level, and it's not treating me well. And you just do all 5 levels over again. Well, 5 in this game. 6 in the original, and there's like, I think 7 in Super Ghouls and Ghosts. And I don't know how many there are in Ultimate. Just making sure I was on the right chest here if I had to take an armor drop, because so how chests work is the first chest is always a nobody chest. It depends on your armor, but the steel armor in particular, it's always going to be a trickster. Here's the high score screen if you wanted to see it. I was just showing that for the sake of the marathon, not because I got 2 game overs. The first chest is always a trickster. The second chest has your golden armor, which you saw earlier while I was trying to get Knight. The third chest has a weapon, and the fourth chest has steel armor if you're naked. And that's what I wanted. Yeah. Shielders keep giving me, that's the name of that boss, it's Shielder. Shielder keeps giving me very interesting patterns that I just haven't seen before. Okay, alright. Yeah, those eyeballs can go wherever they want, and it's pretty mean. Speaking of mean, Beelzebub is this boss. He's a very mean son of a bee. Oh, I'm dead. Yeah, there was nothing I could do there. I was stuck. I was pretty beans. I've never seen that pattern, where he goes straight into the wall. Never seen it before. Yeah, and that's a lot about this game. You guys don't know, I have a lot of hours in this game. I put a lot of time and effort into playing Ghouls and Ghosts. I have something like 6,000 attempts and 7 days logged in, and there are still some things I either don't remember seeing or haven't seen more than like 1 time. And it always seems to happen during marathons. So, again, that Beelzebub pattern is not something I've seen in recent memory. Also, those goblins, completely random, can just get in your way and be mean. That was a much better Beelzebub pattern. I didn't get sandwiched in between a wall and hit immediately. Actually went well that time. We're in the Japanese mode of this game. It's called Daimakai Mora. Specifically because this cutscene takes like 25 seconds less time. You save 25 seconds just on this cutscene. There's no other difference, besides that the game's harder. But again, the amount of difficulty is balanced by this cutscene being a lot shorter. Basically what it's telling us is, we're not powerful enough yet, we have to go beat the game again. So we're going to do that. There's no real big differences the second time around. It really is the same game. It really is the same game. Overall. The only difference in the beginning is that you have knife, and that means you can kill bosses a little easier. You don't have to worry about Lance's little oddities, like not being able to shoot more than 2 and not being rapid fire. Besides that, it really is the same game. I'm gonna take the other boost that is safer, because you don't have to deal with that pig. I died to that pig for the first time yesterday, so I was not feeling good about doing that. Alright. Shield her down. He's a lot easier with the knife. He puts you into a lot less no-win scenarios. When you're using the knife, you can just kill him a lot faster. The biggest thing with the knife is that you can shoot 3 at once and it's rapid fire. No other projectile in the game allows you that. So, easily the strongest weapon in the game, and it's just as strong as the lance. I don't know what they were thinking, or maybe they like didn't change the damage value. But the damage value is the same as the lance and the discus, both of which can only shoot 2 shots. Sure, it's a smaller projectile, it's kinda harder to hit things with, but if you can shoot 3 at a time, I mean, I think you'll be fine if one of them doesn't hit. Alright. I haven't talked a lot about this, but this is the goodest place than any. There's a thing in this game that a lot of games, arcade games have, especially older ones, called rank, and it goes up as you play the game. What that means is that the second loop is technically harder. Again, just technically, in certain places, but mostly it just means there's certain things you can't do or are much tighter to do. You saw in level 2 in the first loop, I didn't mention it, but I did like a boost where I was on the ladder and I got hit by that flower thing's projectile. I may or may not have done that, actually. I forget if I had armor or not going there, but if you have armor, you're supposed to do that. I ended up skipping it because it is a very tight input. It's something like 3 frames. It's very, very tight. So I didn't want to do that in a marathon. It's tighter than some of the boss kills. And so I don't go for it there. Level 3, without having to get knife, it's a pretty useless stage. So I'm going to talk more about rank instead of this stage. Rank is a pretty cool feature, but it makes save states basically impossible to use unless you save state in the middle of a run that's going on good rank. Because if you spend longer in a level, your rank goes up more than it should, and if you say die on a level, then your rank goes way, way down, and you're not practicing on the right rank for a battle, or on the right rank for a level. So that's a bit of an issue. Lance loves to stalk me here. I don't know what that's all about. Alright, that's the chest jump. I was supposed to do that before, but I needed the weapon, so ended up not going for that. Needed all the chests there, but this time I was able to do it. And you'll see how much faster this fight is with knife, even if I messed it up. See, that fight was a lot faster. I don't have to throw just 1 axe a second. Capcom is silly. They haven't learned to design balance after so many years, but you could really see the beginnings of it in these Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts games. Alright. Yep, we're having some proper beans. Alright. Alright, I got through that fast enough. Okay. This game's mean. I was talking about rank. Things shoot projectiles more often if you're on a higher rank. Okay. Yep. Yeah, the game is just being weird right now. It's because I died a lot, and I'm on a rank that I'm not used to in the second loop. But yeah, enemies. The biggest parts about rank are enemies shoot more projectiles. They shoot them faster, and there's more enemies. More random enemy spawns, rather. That's really it, though. Not much else to it. So that means rank overall is insignificant, and basically you're just playing through the game twice. Speaking of the things that are different between Loop 1 and Loop 2, there's this stage, 2-5. again, if you don't know the structure of G&G games, allow me to inform you. You always need some sort of ultimate weapon, and in this game, okay. Oh, that's how you stop that. Man, this game's mean. And in this game, it's the Psycho Cannon. Sorry, I had to focus there. The Psycho Cannon is an excellent weapon. Usually the ultimate weapon, quote-unquote, in G&G is pretty bad. But in this game, it is actually a really nice weapon. It does the most damage of any weapon when you're up close. The range even becomes greater when you have gold armor, so I'll be picking it up here, even though it looks silly, because you don't get magic when you have gold armor, and you don't get an extra hit, so hey, why would you get it? It increases the range of this weapon, and also makes it eat projectiles. So you can do stuff like that. It's a pretty insane weapon when you're up close, but really hard to use as a casual player, because you have to get up close and personal with enemies. I'm actually gonna do something I usually don't do here. I'm gonna kill these guys because they're completely luck-based and they can just fly in and hit you during the boss, and it's not very nice. That could have been a random weapon drop, and if you have a bad weapon here, I'm not gonna do the damage first. If you have another weapon here, you'll get sent back to the beginning of stage 5, which is very mean. Oh, I don't think I can hit him. Okay. Yeah, this boss likes to fly, as stated. He likes to fly places you can't hit him, and those are good examples right there. Going out of sight, out of mind both times. Fortunately, finally we got him, and we're treated to the easiest final boss I think I've ever played, Lucifer. For being the denizen of hell, he's pretty darn easy, and that's time. I didn't expect to kill him that fast. I actually skipped a cycle there, which is something that's pretty rare, but is easy enough to do. You just need to get very, very specific timing. 2150, I think I split a little late, but something like a high 21. It wasn't terrible. Definitely could have gone better, but I don't feel like any of that was anything but the game being mean to me. That's what this game does a lot. The game is very mean.
This is a very mean game.
It is an incredibly mean game. I tried my hardest, and I didn't get weapons, and I got weapons where I didn't want them, and I got bad boss patterns. It was a fun time, though. This game is the definition of a fun time if you're patient enough to want to deal with all of its silly luck discrepancies.